Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night. There would be a joke here, but it took us half an hour longer than it should have to start the goddamn episode. I'm Atlas.
I'm
You
Matt.
should have just downloaded more RAM. I'm Root Beer.
And I'm James.
There you go.
Yes, I'm going for this one.
Our friend James is back again because today we're talking Phantasmal Steed Restoration V Booster Set 6, which contains Shadow Paladin, Murakumo, Dark Irregulars, and Pale Moon. I like, but James insisted upon coming on this episode, so he has yoinked it from me. And thus we are each taking one clan each. So the way this works...
Is yoink the opposite of yeet?
I thought yeet is also taking something, isn't it?
No, yeet is chucking something, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yoinking is taking something, yeeting is getting rid of something?
Yeah, it sounds like they're opposites.
That's what the kids these days are saying. Anyway, to those people out there who haven't been with us before for a set review, how this goes is we take the VRs all the way down through the double Rs, say their effects, and talk about them, and make fun of them probably, and then any commons or rares that interest us. If you want a more comprehensive set review, I recommend checking out Different Fight's channel when he does it for this set, which will be probably weeks from now. Anyway, why don't we get it started? Root Beer, kick us off if you please.
Alright. Illusory Revenger, Mordred Phantom.
Illusory?
So, grade 3, Force...
Illusionary?
Oh, Illusionary.
Illusory.
Whatever. I'm pretty sure that's a real word, but whatever.
Illusory? What, they're just cloaked
Yeah,
in losing?
illusory is a word. Yeah, no, for sure.
It is.
How do you spell
Yeah.
that?
I just read it wrong.
Oh, well then.
It doesn't matter, let's go.
Creative
Yeah.
writing degree
So,
for the
grade
win.
3... Grade 3, Force Gift, 13k, has 2 skills. The first one is Auto, Vanguard Circle. When Blaster Dark is placed on rearguard, you get an imaginary Force Gift. And then his other auto ability is when it attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, Counterblast 1, stand all of your Blaster Dark, and they get power plus 10,000 until the end of the turn.
Hey, if I ride him and I choose Force 2, do I get Force 1 when I get it off of his effects?
No.
No.
For the 50th fucking time, no. This
Once you choose a
happens
gift,
every time.
like, for those of you who still don't understand, when you choose a gift, that is the gift you get for the rest of the game. It doesn't matter how you get those gifts. That is just the gift you get, is the one you choose when you get your first gift.
Nice.
So looking at this effect, I'm thinking that you just get Force 1, because now you can spam them, kind of.
I mean, with a restanding rear guard, Force 2 might be better, because then you always have that crit pressure.
Right.
Like, attacking what, like, 5 times, all with the critical, is pretty devastating, and, like,
Yeah.
pretty retarded damage denial.
Like, imagine you're going second, you ride this thing, choose Force 2, and you have, like, even one Blaster Dark to call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're just like, cool, I'm gonna get this extra Force gift from my Rearguard Circle and my Vanguard
Yeah.
Circle. Alright, here's my 18k with a crit. They're like, yeah, okay. And you're like, alright, here's my Vanguard with a giant crit. And they're like, okay. And you're like, oh, by the way, restand my idiot.
I think,
Oh.
like...
And it also gets the power plus 10,000, so
Yeah.
it's like 20k and then like 28.
Yeah, so your opponent just can't just, like, intercept whatever to stop it. Even
Right.
then, that's, like, using up quite a lot of cards. I think, like, this card doesn't really fit with what Shadow Paladin is currently going for.
Oh,
Or-
sure.
Yeah.
It's two different decks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think what this set really did was just provide different ways, different builds for different deck, or for all the clans that are in it, essentially.
That's fine with me.
I also, I think they're kind of doing that too, because there's going to be, like, the new arc coming up with a new mechanic, so they're trying to start new decks for it.
Is there now? Do we know if Shadow Paladin any cards that are able to search for Blaster Dark?
Yes, check the top anyway. They have a check the top coming up.
I mean, that's
I'm
literally
getting
the
into
next card.
That's
That's literally the next card.
Best
Nullity
segue
Revenger,
ever.
Nullity Revenger, Masquerade. So it is a grade 2 10k, and it's a VR for whatever fucking reason. So auto, Vanguard, Rearguard. When it's placed, look at the top 7 cards from your top of your deck. You can search for one Mordred or one Blaster Dark from among them. Put it in your hand and shuffle your deck. If you put a card into your hand, retire one of your Rearguards. So the play is totally just writing this card with an empty board and getting a free card.
Shadow Paladins get free shit all the time anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
And then continuous Vanguard, Rearguard Circle. If it attacks Vanguard, it gets power plus 3,000. Sure.
Yo, that's annoying.
Yeah. So I hear that a lot of people with this set are just going to run 4 Mordred Phantom and just call it a day. Like, you have Masquerade, and that's it. Like, G-assisting for the grade 3 isn't that big of a deal, I guess. Or that's what some people are saying, although there was a reveal a couple days ago that might change people's tunes. But, yeah, looking pretty strong so far.
Grade 2 is pretty solid.
Yeah. Not sure why it's a VR, but...
Grade 2 VR kinda, like, this is Bermuda shit. So, in the typical vein of Shadow Paladin, Bushiroad's goal is to make Shadow Paladin as obnoxiously expensive as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that goal, this fits.
Okay.
They know the money clans.
Yeah, sure. I mean...
Bermuda broke the game in more ways than one. We're getting weird rarities now for cards.
Yep. I can't wait till the...
You're welcome.
The second Bermuda second a year.
Oh my god, are you ready? It's gonna have no grade 3 VRs. Wait, the other set. Wait, what am I talking about?
There's another Bermuda set, remember?
Yeah,
The Bermuda set that just came out broke the game in more ways than one.
Good
Oh
lord.
my fucking god.
Wait,
Alright,
so
so anyway, let's talk about...
I was
What?
going to say, does this mean that the old Shadow Paladin stuff goes down because, like, it's not as hype anymore? Like the Dust Blaster PvD stuff? Or...
I think it depends. Like, I don't know if a hybrid works of this yet because I don't have any testing data on it. But being able to get a lot of critical on a single card and really quickly is still like pretty good for damage denying some decks. And like, I think maybe this deck could work. It just depends on just how easily you can keep reusing your Blaster Darks. Because, like, no one's going to let Blaster Dark live in this deck.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Beat the crap out of it. But also, that's called foreshadowing.
Matt,
Foreshadowing.
Kick it.
Alrighty, so let's talk about this next guy, who
Oh.
I misread before. Samurai Chieftain Hyuga.
What did
What
you
am I looking
misread
at
it
here?
as?
Yeah,
I misread the
No,
text.
he misread the
Oh.
skill.
Oh,
Remember last week he went on a giant rant on false pretenses?
right,
Yeah.
right. But that was the fun
So,
part
yeah.
of false pretenses.
Yeah, well, it's fine. So this guy has an act on Vanguard Circle once per turn. You can counterblast one, search your deck for up to one card with the same name as one of your opponent's units. Call it to Rearguard Circle, shuffle your deck, until end of your turn, change the card name of all of your and your opponent's units to this unit's card name. Same grade as one of your opponent's units. So you pick one of your opponent's units. If they only have a 3, you have to get a 3. You know, like if they don't have any rearguards.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can just, if they have whatever, you just get whatever. And then it changes everybody's name to that one. Now you might ask, why would you ever want to do that? What's the fucking point? Well, Murakumo does care about having lots of repeat names on field, but also, you can Soul Blast to grade 3 and return all of your opponent's rearguards with the same name as your or your opponent's other unit to deck and shuffle it.
Cool.
So, yeah, you can just shuffle your opponent's entire field into their deck.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Suck on that, Gears.
Which is, I mean, it's a big plus. It makes them hit triggers often, but
I mean, it depends on how much
yeah,
effort
it seems...
It depends on how much effort went into the field. Like, especially against other Excel decks, this could really fuck up some, like, Nova Grappler. They're not gonna like this.
Yeah, but at the same time, this board rewind is so slow. Like, is there a way to accelerate grade 3s into your soul?
There's a grade 3 that's coming up that lets you put himself into the soul.
Oh,
Okay.
good stuff.
And
That
also,
works.
if you're willing to try like a Shiryuki hybrid, which I'm not sure if that's the greatest idea because resources, it's possible to get a pretty strong soul charge engine.
with
And
Jakar
at
General.
worst case scenario, this card can just be a finisher. I've actually done a bit of playtesting with this because I have a friend who plays Murakumo, so we've been playtesting the Murakumo stuff. Opinions on this is that it can make some really scary turns with the other grade 3s, and this actual older grade 3 that never saw play, which it's grade 3 continuous. During your turn, all your rear guards with the same name as your vanguard get plus 5k, and it's continuous. So you have 2 copies of this. It stacks.
Oh shit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then if you also call like one of the grade 3s coming up along with this card, you can make a very scary giant board really fast.
Okay.
And maybe 2 turns of that might just be enough to kill someone right off the bat. And if they survive that, you shuffle their board away.
All right.
Sounds
Sounds good.
Let's see. Now we have Demonic Deep Phantasm Emperor Brufus, which this looks like a combination of a Mon and that giant robot walker thing from the finale of Legend of Korra that's shooting the giant spirit laser. Except out of its hand.
I've only seen 2 episodes of Legend of Korra, so
don't worry, you're fine. You're fine. You don't have to watch it.
Check out season 3. It's pretty good. Anyway, so grade 3, 12k protect gift DIs. Act on Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, you can counterblast 1. Look at all of your deck. Weird way to word it. Yeah. Search for up to 3 cards with the same card name and reveal them. And if your soul has a card with the same card name as those cards, put a card from among the revealed cards into your hand and put the rest into your soul. Shuffle your deck. Try saying this effect 3 times fast.
So you pick up your deck, pull out 3 cards. If all 3 of them are in your soul, you put 1 in your hand and the other 2 into your soul.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then the other skill is auto unban when it attacks. James.
Sorry.
I'm going to kill you.
It's not...
James is trying to clarify the skill.
It doesn't have to have the same card. All 3 don't have to have the same card name, I think, to add it to the soul. Just one of the 3.
It says if your soul has a card with the same name as those cards.
Yeah. You're searching for 3 cards with the same name, though, so...
Yeah.
I see.
So you search your deck for 3 cards, and if the 4th copy is in your soul, you can add 1 to your hand and the rest go into your soul. Otherwise, they all go in your soul.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Other skills on Vin when it attacks, if your soul has 2 or more grade 3s, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and this card gets the power and critical of that unit until the end of that battle. And it says added amount is included, so if it's been powered up by something, you get that too.
Critical just matter now.
So, Force 2 is really funny for this, because they're like, alright, retire that Blaster Dark over there. Now I am 22k with 3 crit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But your soul needs 2 grade 3, but that's not hard to do in Dark Irregulars.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
What do you
it's
mean
not.
that first skill literally does the thing? You're like, grab 3 grade 3s, put in soul, done.
No, you just don't get anything to your hand. So.
Right, but
whatever, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure with everything that they've released for Dark Irregulars this set, I think the goal is to just turbo your soul to 20 as fast as possible, and then try to win.
that seems doable.
Yeah.
I like this with Protect Gift too.
Yeah.
This card is also just very free overall.
Yeah, it's 1 counterblast. It's fine. 1 counterblast for the setup, and then you're just beat face for the entire game.
Yep.
Yeah. Sounds like exactly what I want out of a Dark Irregulars card.
And then
You punch people in the face.
and that second still is literally free. So, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Also, whatever you retire, he will get an extra crit, regardless. So,
Yep.
neato.
Right.
All right.
So,
Unless you're stupid enough to retire something with 0 crit, but I don't think that exists.
Not yet, anyway.
funny thing about this is it makes the critical trigger on damage trigger matter now.
Dude.
Where you put the crit matters. Because it's mandatory.
Right.
You have to give it to your Vanguard every time.
Yep.
Yeah. You can't just like put it on the rear guard and not care.
Yeah.
It matters now.
That's pretty dope. All right, James, it is your turn.
Okay. Here she is. Next card, Silverthorn, Dragon Tamer, Luquier. Grade 3 Excel Gift, Pale Moon. 2 skills. First one, continuous on Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. During your turn, if you call 2 or more cards from your soul this turn, this unit gets power plus 1,000. Second skill, act Vanguard Circle once per turn, costs Counterblast 2, discard a card from your hand, call any number of cards with Silverthorn in their card names from your soul to Rearguard Circle, and all of your front row rearguards get plus 3k until end of turn.
How many units was that?
Any
Any.
number.
That's a lot,
Mm-hmm.
potentially.
So, like, do you
Go
want to
ahead.
go first that list?
No, go ahead.
Well, I know I've been testing Pale Moon in Standard. Atlas has been doing the premium testing, so we'll probably
Yep.
go back and forth on that. This card is, from playtesting, is just really, really solid. It gives you a lot of cards early on. You can just put on an offense without having to call a board, and it just saves you a lot of cards in hand. I've been testing it, and our 2 friends Ash and Hal have been testing it. And every single game we play with Luquier, we just have like really healthy hand all the way. I even had a hand where I had 16 cards at one point and guarded 2 Feather Palaces in a row. And the Counterblast 2 discard 1 is like pretty hefty cost. But if you compare it to, say, a card like Cocytus for Counterblast 2, mill 8, essentially gives you a similar amount of cards called to the board, but that is more flexible and you can do it over 2 turns. But this card kind of like front loads the calling into 1 turn. And like the 3k helps because, like, you know, Golden Beast Tamer has that 3k that lets things attack. But like this card is also just really good as a rear guard because the plus 10k power just lets it hit things even on an Excel 2 circle, and it can hit for over 1 trigger. So like Pale Moon with this card is no longer like a last cannon deck. It can grind and it can hit over triggers.
Okay, and here are the problems I have with it. One,
Yes, there's that.
all right. One, the Counterblast 2 is a little hefty in Pale Moon because our countercharge engine is a lion thing that has to Soul Blast and suck something in, and you can only do it once per turn. Or a clown with a knife that only lets you countercharge if all your damage is face down at the end of your turn. Like, it's very, very slow, and this uses up Counterblast quickly. The discard doesn't bother me so much, but the plus 3k to your front row being tied to that skill does, just because Pale Moon being Pale Moon, you are going to be calling things in and out of soul during battle phase with another card coming down the line. And that fucks you up a little bit. And Xenophobia sucks. Okay, what?
I think Luquier is a card that you can't really judge on its own, because this card is definitely a card that is more of a utility card rather than the finisher or the pressure card. And if you take the rest of the Silverthorn support together, the 3k ends up mattering a lot less because of all the other rear guards. You're still like hitting for numbers that are still good even without that 3k. And on top of that, the Xenophobia, I did the math on it. Right now in my deck, 34 of my 49 cards, not including the starter, are Silverthorn and are worthy of being in the deck. So that's a 70% of your deck is Silverthorn.
Okay.
And the Soul Charge engine for Silverthorn is pretty nuts, to be honest.
Sure. But also, like what I've been doing for premium, I ended up cutting this card completely because you don't need the main phase skill. I might use it as a rear guard, just for that plus 10k thing. But it's not really needed in premium. In standard, it's objectively good, and I'm probably gonna end up trying it because, but you already know what's my problems with it. Let's keep it moving because otherwise we're gonna be here all day.
Yeah. All right. Danger Lunge Dragon. That is a stupid name. So it's a grade 3 force gift, 13k. Auto Vanguard when placed, Soul Blast 1, return a grade 2 card from your drop zone to your hand. And then Auto Vanguard Rearguard when it attacks. If you have 3 or more force markers, Soul Blast to grade 3 until the end of the battle. This unit gets power plus 10,000 and critical plus 1, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels from their hand.
Okay.
Anybody remember a year and a half ago where people were like, I wish Waterfall worked on Rearguard Circle?
Now it does.
Now it does.
Rejoice.
So, appears to be something that can recycle Blaster Dark.
Yeah. But only if you ride it.
Right. I mean, that's not too bad. I think... Well, this one wants to be used with Force 1, I think. Possibly.
Yeah. I mean, Force 1 is still not bad with Blaster Dark. I just think the 2 crits is more pressure overall, but I don't know. I would run this as like a 2 of in the Mordred deck.
It'd be funny if you did Force 2, put it on your Vanguard Circle, and just kept rewriting this and pressuring with 3 criticals each turn. That'd be pretty funny.
It's not a bad way to do it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you run it with Force 2, especially with the Mordred deck letting you speed up your force markers, like, this could just be 23 or potentially 31k, I think. That's the math. Yeah. With multiple crits and your opponent can't use Sentinels. So that's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Seems
And
fine. Just a
Yeah.
little boring.
yeah.
I mean, the cannot cost Sentinels part's an interesting line, but the rest of it's kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. And then our next triple R is Transient Revenger Masquerade. So this is not his final form, because that was the grade 2 we already covered. Grade 1, 8k, act Rearguard Circle, Caron Blast 1, put it into your soul, call Blaster Dark from your drop zone and gets power 5 plus 5,000 till end of turn.
Stop
and then during the battle it boosts.
Go ahead.
During the battle it boosts, this unit gets power plus 3,000.
Stop
Nice.
giving Grand Blue effects to other cards.
Well, but it's only for Blaster Darks, Atlas.
Don't worry, Atlas. There's literally an Angel Feather card in this set.
But don't worry, we now have even more ways of recycling Blaster Dark, so you can just keep restanding it over and over again.
Sounds like you're going to play a lot of this card if you're playing Mordred.
Yep.
Also,
Nice.
was it Masquerade kind of undoes Danger Lunge's utility then?
Yeah.
Well,
More.
one costs
Well, one
Counterblast
costs-
and Soul.
Yeah, and the other costs Soul.
Another one has to be Road.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can just...
Well, that's the thing, is, like, you want consistency in the deck, so... Like, having a couple of copies of Danger Lunge doesn't really hurt the deck that much, and then it's still a useful rear guard to have. Right, because then you have Blaster Dark on one side restanding on your opponent, and then you have Danger Lunge on the other side with a guard restrict. You're just kind of taking every good win condition and throwing it at your opponent at once.
The Haymaker strategy, I like it.
It's a good term. Speaking of haymakers, what's remember? Wasn't this the dude that you would like lock stuff to call other copies of him? The next card, I mean.
Who transit? Oh, Covert Demonic Dragon Hyaki Vogue. You're thinking of the reverse and the Break Ride, which was some shit, but you're thinking of some weird combination thereof.
But
But this one's kind of this is kind of some weird amalgamation of them, but no locking because locking's silly.
Yeah.
So it has the first thing, it's a grade 3 12k Excel gift from Murakumo. Covert Demonic Dragon Hyaki Vogue has an act on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle that is once per turn, where you can counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, search your deck for up to 1 Covert Demonic Dragon Hyaki Vogue, call it to Rearguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. If you have 5 more units, all of your units with the same name as this card get power plus 10,000 on a turn. Now this once per turn, correct me if I'm wrong, is tied to each individual card, right?
correct.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So the new one you call has a new once per turn that you can now use.
Yes. It is a soft once per turn,
Hmm.
or something like.
So if I had, if let's say I had a million counterblasts for some reason, and I was a stupid man, I could go. Let me ride this guy. Counterblast 1, discard a card. Call another one. Counterblast 1, discard a card. Call another one. Counterblast 1, discard a card. Call another one.
And you just
And then
keep
you're-
doing that
Well,
until
then you're out
front.
of them.
Yeah. But then if you use it with Hyuga,
Oh wait, you have to. Well, oh sorry. For the full board effect though, you have to time Hyuga after you call everything though.
Mm.
Yeah.
mhm.
It doesn't work. It's a little awkward when you try to set it up next to Hyuga
Yeah.
Mhm.
because Hyuga will do something. Like it'll change everyone now to Hyaki Vogue, right?
Mhm.
No,
And then
I'm okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Hyuga says it changes everything to Hyuga, right?
No, it's
Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah,
change
no,
the
it
card
is
name.
changing
oh,
everything
this
to
unit,
Hyuga.
yeah, sorry, this unit's card name.
Yeah.
But it's the same card name as this unit,
Yeah.
so you'd have to do it like. But it would have the same name as either Hyuga or Kyaki.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I think what you would have to do is you would have to have a Hyaki Vogue on the board, use Hyuga first to change everything to Hyuga, and then then use Hyaki's skill to call another one, because they would both still be named Hyaki, I believe.
Actually, no.
Oh no, they wouldn't be
It
anymore.
completely changes the name.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's not like
no,
it's,
this doesn't.
it's not
then-
like a heart.
Basically,
Right.
you would use it to. Basically, you would use to give your already existing board power, except for the new Hyaki Vogue that you call.
I
Yeah, this
think.
doesn't really work.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I brought up a card earlier that was give all your rear guards with the same name as your vanguard +5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like the ideal term would be to have 2 of those out and then call this with Hyuga, change everything, and then you'll have like one of this that doesn't have the Hyuga name, but then the rest of your board just got +15.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And the continuous one, it doesn't use counterblast or any resources, just continuous.
It's a lot of grade 3s.
Yeah.
Like this deck is really heavy grade 3, which is why I don't think it makes a good hybrid with Sambaku or Shiyuki right now.
Right. Yeah, this I'm like not a terribly huge fan of cards like this. I don't like getting only one. Like you're kind of breaking even on cards
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and you're trading counterblast for 10k power basically, which I don't think is a good trade in general.
I think the point is to combo it with Hyuga so that you're not just getting 10k, you're getting like 50k or so across.
Yeah, but I just don't think the combo even ends up working well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Silverthorn kind of does something similar in this set, but what Silverthorn kind of has over what the Murakumo stuff does is it has a way to conserve cards, which this card doesn't really do that.
Well, yeah, because you're dropping cards for each call.
Yeah.
So there's another Murakumo triple R called Stealth Beast Spellhound. I had to like look at this card several times to figure out what the fuck was going on, but I figured it out.
With the picture or with the
It's
effect?
like-
Because the picture's bonkers.
The picture is absolutely bonkers. It's like some dog like vanishing into the ether or some nonsense. I'm not really sure.
It looks like he's
so
holding
it's a
the
grade
umbrella
2.
that goes in a drink, doesn't it?
A little bit, but it's like very short for some
Yeah.
reason.
I thought it was an arrow at first.
Ah, okay, I can see
So
that.
anyway, it's a grade 2 9k that has an auto skill that on Vanguard and Rearguard Circle, when placed, you can Soul Blast 2, search your deck for up to 1 Stealth Beast Spellhound and call it to Rearguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. Increase or decrease that unit and this unit's power to match your Vanguard's power until end of turn. And you match the Vanguard's power at that particular time. So if your Vanguard is buffed for some reason, it gets that power as well.
Okay. What?
Mm.
Like,
So, yeah.
Sure.
Um.
I mean, it does work as you'd expect it to work. Like, I believe Excel circles are on attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean, like the 10k?
So-
Or the...
Yeah.
No, the 10k is continuous. At the start of your turn, just anything on it gets 10k.
Okay.
For the
Or during
duration
your turn?
Yeah, during the duration of your turn.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
That's awkward then, because now it's going to lower it after the Excel marker.
Well, The Excel marker
if that's how it
continues.
works.
The Excel marker continues to exist, though, so it's not like it.
Does it change the base power, or just changes the power?
It just changes the power.
I think
And if it's getting a passive +10,
yeah.
if this is on an Excel circle, is it not going to lower the power down?
I have no idea.
I think we need to check a rule for this.
Thank
But
you,
I-
It's
Roads.
like,
I want to assume that it still gets the power.
Yeah,
from
that's what I
Excel
want to.
circles. I think like we can. I think we can like I don't know if it's treated this way, but like gifts on a circle are treated as like buffs because like if you move it off the circle, it loses it. So I don't know if it's like locational based.
I think it is.
so you
What-
can actually fix this by, well, because you can't fix it with the Excel circle specifically, because if you call it an Excel circle, it's already going to be on there. And then,
Well, it says match the power at that time. So what if it just matches it and then like the Excel circle continues working?
well,
I-
is
I'm
Excel
pretty
circle
sure that's-
continuous?
Yes, I think.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure, like, whatever power changes that occur irrelevant of the Excel marker, but, like, that's really annoying.
Maybe it's more clear in Japanese.
Somebody should email Bushiroad and let us know at Nexus at Night on Twitter, because that is a weird ruling.
How
Yeah.
did they not just make this clear on the card the first time?
I know, right?
Like, this has to be a question that came up when they made this card.
Maybe in their heads it was so obvious. They're like, well, they'll figure it out.
Well,
But
Bushra does do this thing where they just kind of imagine how cards should work and don't
Mhm.
actually, like, put it down into words. So it's just like, yeah, everyone will figure it out.
or it's not even
Maybe
that.
it's
Just
more clear
like
in Japanese.
having the characters play cards certain ways, and you're like, but that's not the best way to do it. Or just play cards that aren't that good. Anyway,
What were we going to say, James?
Oh, maybe it could also maybe be a lost in translation thing. Maybe it was more clear in Japanese between the rulings.
well,
Oh, maybe.
as
Yeah.
evidenced by
I'm not
last
going to
week's
give them the benefit
gaff,
of the doubt, though.
I cannot
I also
read
have, like,
Japanese.
I also have like just a few comments from this card from playtesting or seeing it being played. I know for a fact that there is a card coming up that actually looks kind of decent that gives your Vanguard +10. And the Soul Blast 2 Call card is like not bad if you're committing to the new VR, Hyuga, because now you no longer have Shiryuki to use the Soul resource. So this is a pretty free plus.
I mean, Soul Blast 2 is pretty heavy, but yeah, as you're saying.
I mean, even
Pretty
if
heavy, but
even
there's
if
a
you give your
grade 3
Vanguard
coming up that
plus,
helps a bit.
if you give your Vanguard
10.
+10 and then call it to an Excel circle, it's tantamount to +3, which is kind of
Well, it depends how this. Depends how
Yeah,
this
we don't actually know how that works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work well with Excel circles, I think this card is actively bad.
Mm.
Because a lot of the time you're going to have to call to an Excel circle. It's just not even a choice you're going to have to make. Like, you're going to have an option. You're just
Mhm.
going to have to do it. But, yeah, that's a really... But if if it does work on Excel circles, as intended, probably.
Mhm.
At least I hope it didn't intend it the other way. That would be bizarre.
Yeah.
Then I do think the card's pretty good.
Doesn't feel too
If you're
beyond
not
the pale,
using
though.
Soul for anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, Matt. Side note for Yu-Gi-Oh, Matt. Do you remember Noble Knights?
Unfortunately, that deck was bad, but go on.
Do you remember the intended ruling of the rank 5 Noble Knight?
No.
So for Noble Knights, their equips when they're destroyed, they once per turn you can re-equip it onto a warrior, and they have this rank 5 that when it dies, you can special summon a Noble Knight from your deck. So the idea was after your boss monster dies, you get another warrior, and then all your swords, you just re-equip it onto it and buff it up.
Yeah,
The
but
problem is that it the swords have the ruling where it has to be the very next effect that happens. So all of the swords miss timing, and you just get a unprotected monster.
sounds like Noble Knights.
This was like one of those like Konami,
job, Konami.
fucked up writing the card.
This was like an NA only
Yeah,
archetype, right? Yeah, get
Yeah.
fucked.
we can get back to Vanguard now.
All right.
All right.
We got Emblem Master. So grade 2, 9k for DI. On Rearguard or Guard Circle, if your soul has 7 or more cards, he gets plus 5k power and plus 5k shield, foe free. Cool. Then, on Vanarreer, when placed, Counterblast 1, search your deck and drop zone for up to 3 cards in total with the same card name as one of your units, and put them into your soul. If you search the deck, shuffle your deck.
Whoa! So the old one of this was the on-hit Counterblast 1 Soul Charger 3?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
It's incredibly selective now. It seems like DI wants you to just run 4 ofs for everything. Now.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's Vanguard, though.
Yeah.
What's your name's Granblue?
Or Gear Chronicle, apparently.
Oh God.
Or Bermuda for that one stupid deck.
Highlander. Yeah. This seems pretty
I don't
cool.
know if that deck's good.
It's great for the Protect 2 thing, because this just feeds into the Protect 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because now instead of being 14k base with, 15k shield, it's 19k base with 20k shield.
So you can grab the rest of the Emblem Masters from your deck and shove them in Soul?
Yeah.
Or you can target your grade 3 Vanguard and set up your VR.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. You
Yeah.
can do that.
That's true, because the VR's skill is act, so you can just do this, then do that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool stuff, yo. Then we got Yellow Bolts, which has basically been the old version was you rested to Soul Charge. That has been that is going to be tied to Solemn Vanguard for basically the rest of eternity, because of his infamous win of, I want to say, Nationals, some big tournament where he used that as the main engine for his assassin loop. Before that got limited. Anyway, the new one is grade 1 8k. On rear, when it attacks a grade 2 or greater unit, Soul Charge 1, and he gets plus 5k until end of that battle. Strange. And then the other skill is when rode upon, you may Soul Charge 2. If you Soul Charge 1 or more trigger units, draw a card.
Huh.
Cool.
Great first ride.
Yeah. That first skill is weird, though.
Yeah.
Good if you're desperate.
I mean,
I guess.
What a bizarre card. This
Yeah.
card's probably fine. Because you think, like, if it's a rear guard skill. So if you're, like, later in the game, this thing's always a 13k attacker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always going to be attacking a grade 2 or greater unit for the most part.
Yeah.
And so, like, and if you ride it, it's, like, good to ride. But it's
Mhm.
also, in late game, I'm not sure how important that soul charging is going to be.
Why
So
didn't
you have to
add-
ask yourself, how important to you as a grade 1 15k attacker?
You could just run 4 of this to hope you ride it, and then if not, just use it off of fucking
Uh-huh.
the VR.
I mean, I guess it's kind of a disposable early attacker that kind of helps build towards your win condition.
I mean, I'm not even so sure exactly because I don't keep up with DI that much. The other grade 1 options in general.
I haven't either for
I haven't looked at the chats.
for standard.
If there aren't that many other good options, then this card is like it's a really good first ride.
Yeah.
I wish the soul charge wasn't tied to the grade thing. I wish it was you can soul charge when it attacks a Vanguard, and then if you're attacking your grade 2 or greater, get the 5k.
You can do it earlier.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like that would have been nice, but whatever. I'm not gonna. Beggars can't be choosers. Oh man.
I think it's to enforce that this is a protect deck and not an Excel deck.
Right.
I think that's why they did it.
In case we forgot.
DI is like, along with Nuvatama, the least protect deck.
Granblue has a word. That's something to say to you. They're essentially a force deck at this point.
Sure. All right. I fucking love this next card. James, if you please.
Oh yes. Next card is Silverthorn Marionette Lillian. Grade 2, 2 skills. First one, auto on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. When placed from hand, cost Counterblast 1. Search your deck for up to 1 card with Silverthorn in its card name and put it into your soul and shuffle your deck. Second skill, auto on Rearguard Circle. When it attacks the Vanguard, if your soul has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn in their different card names, this unit gets power plus 10k until end of that battle.
Well, it helps you set up, but also gets rewarded for being over set up.
Mhm.
Nice.
I wish it was either not placed from hand or it didn't cost a counterblast, like they do with fucking every other grade 2 misdirection, nitro juggler, etc.
Yeah, the counterblast is a little painful.
Mm-hmm.
But all of
Especially-
these effects that have like search your deck for card, like specific card and shove into the soul, have always been pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Counterblast wise,
That's
the
fine.
old ones I believe used to be 8K.
Yes.
Just kind of hurts a bit more because Lukier needs so much. But I think it's like there for Silverthorn from playtesting, there's just like a decision point where you have to choose a strategy and commit to it. So there's like the strats where you plan on using Lukier twice. There's strats when you plan on maybe using Lukier once and then trying to kill them with this card and another card that's coming up. Or like you go to Lukier once, then you switch on the Golden Beast Tamer and try and kill them that way. But yeah, this card is like pretty solid. The plus 10k, like it helps a lot.
It's also super
For
easy
the-
to set up. So in standard, one of the new starters is Silverthorn, so that's one. If most of you, like, there aren't really any grade 1s worth running, I don't think, aside from maybe if you want to run the Purple Trapezist engine, you could run that, or what's it called, Midnight Bunny, but maybe not. So most of your grade 1s are going to be Silverthorns anyway. So just by riding normally, that's already 2, and then she searches a 3rd. You're 3/4 of the way there. Now, in Premium, this gets even more gangbusters because there is a starter that you shove it in Soul, check top 5, look for up to a grade 1, 2, and 3 of Silverthorns and put them in Soul, and then shuffle. So you ride whatever, call Emil out, that's her name, and then you put Emil in, that's 1. You check top 5, and usually it's about 2 you put in. So that's 2, 3, and then Lillian's 4. You're done. Turn 2.
So for standard though, we do have a grade 1 coming up that might even possibly be better than Emil. Possibly, because it really helps with the consistency of the soul charge,
Yes.
and you would definitely run 4 copies of this. Unlike Emil, you only really run 1 copy.
Oh, sure. I mean, like,
yeah.
I tried running it in Premium, but it was just a little too slow for me.
That I totally understand.
Yeah.
Premium's just such a fast format
Yeah.
now.
In Standard, though, it's really fucking funny. I saw the effect, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yes.
What
The
about...
one thing that irks me is it's different card names. That's the annoying part.
It
But it isn't too hard to do.
It sounds annoying, but it's not as bad as you think. Like,
Sometimes I even, like, off the grade 1 that soul charges, which we'll get to later, I even just put in just some triggers to get some extra names, and I honestly think it's really worth it to just put in triggers for the extra name to get that plus 10k, because plus 10k means this card can hit through a trigger, which is amazing.
yeah.
All right, let's keep this rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next one.
Alright. Barrier Troop
Next-
Revenger.
No, he's got one more.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, dude.
We have
Sorry.
another Pale Moon card.
Okay.
This is not like Murakumo, where they only
Yeah.
get, like, 1 triple R.
This one...
Or
this,
Nukatom.
this
But-
one does not have a
Light
lot
eyes.
of... It's fine. Go, James.
So, next card is Silverthorn Assistant Irina, grade 1, 8k, and has 2 skills. When placed onto Rearguard Circle from hand, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, put a card from among them into your soul, and put a card from among them on the bottom of your deck.
Bye, Nitro
Second
Juggler.
skill. Second skill, and this is the juicy one. When rode upon, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Put any number of cards with Silverthorn in their card names from among them into your soul, and put the rest of cards looked at on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you put 2 or more cards in your soul, draw a card.
Awesome.
Riding this card is like riding Don Mario, but it feels so much better because it's so much more free.
Yeah, so you're gonna play 4 of this card at all times, and if you
Yeah.
don't, you're probably making a mistake.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Hell,
Pretty simple.
Even in non-Silverthorn stuff, fucking shit's free.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like Silverthorn already, a lot of Silverthorn cards already mix well with, the, say, like Golden Beast Tamer.
Mhm.
So there's a chance you just get the free draw anyway.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Root Beer.
Yeah, good card.
Alright. Barrier Troop Revenger Dorant. So, grade 2, 10k, auto, rearguard circle, when placed. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, gets power plus 10,000, and if you have Claudus on Vanguard or rearguard circle, draw a card.
Who's
Claudus?
Claudus?
Claudus on Vanguard Circle. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
You know what's annoying? It's
It's
not
coming
even.
like up.
It's not even the next card, so you can't even do them together. We have to do do the cards.
Yeah.
You can do them together. You can just
I
skip
mean,
over
yeah,
this
I'm
other
just gonna
thing.
do them together. I'll just skip the other card and go
Yeah.
back later.
Sure, go ahead.
Like,
So who's
Frontline
boss?
Avenger Claudus is grade 1 8k. At the end of your turn, if your Vanguard is grade 3, counterblast 1, put into Soul, draw a card, and then if you have Dorant on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, countercharge 1. I have no idea why they added the Vanguard Circle. You literally can't use its skill if Dorant is the Vanguard.
Yeah, what's the deal? What's the... All right.
What? Alright, so I have a question. Why is it called Frontline Revenger Claudus when it's a grade 1?
I think I heard from Omar that before the skills were reversed, or I think were their grades reversed, or was it?
No,
No, it was...
Claudus was a grade 0 originally.
Oh no, the grades are reversed.
Yeah, Dorant used to be a grade 1 that whenever you call a Blaster Dark in the same column, you'd countercharge 1.
Yeah, but Claudus was a grade 0, the original one.
Oh,
Yep.
that's weird.
So they just moved them up a grade.
Anywho.
And
But
then,
here-
I mean, it's countercharging, I guess. But you
Like
have to counterblast for it.
yeah.
But
so-
how are you calling Dorant if Claudus is your Vanguard?
I have no... Magic.
Is it even worth it?
I-
You're
there's-
just like, whatever. Like,
No, these cards are bad.
Several oofs.
Cards are very expensive too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's this other card we skipped over?
Alright, Wily Revenger Mana. So, grade 1, 8k, auto rearguard when placed, counter plus 1, so last one. Your opponent retires one of their rear guards, and then you get power plus 5,000.
This used to be free.
Counterblast and Soul Blast 1?
Mm-hmm.
For opponent's choice?
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
yikes.
Okay, let's
Those
compare. The old one was a grade 2 AK that called a Revenger literally for free. Like, this is...
The old one was busted.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
huge step down.
The old one was like free Raging Form restats.
Yep. And this is just... I don't even know what this is for.
Bad. All these double Rs are bad. Like, they don't add anything to the Mordred Blaster Dark engine. Like, Mana herself is overcosted. Dorant and Claudus have this weird thing going on that's an imitation of their Royal Paladin equivalents, except the Royal Paladin ones I think were free.
Kay and Bedivere are just fucking better, and yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I can only reason I can justify running Mana is to like clean up the board for PVD's auto damage skill. Like you make him kill 3, call this, hit the last one, then do the Soul Blast the 3 for the damage. That's the only reason I can think of.
I guess.
I mean, otherwise it's a 10k shield. That's nice.
I mean, yeah, there's just so many other grade 1s that can give you free boards.
Sure. Yeah.
Alright,
I fucking love the
let's
name
talk
of this
about
next
some
card.
more Murakumo cards. Central Arrestor, because we're out of fucking names. So it's a grade 2 9k from Murakumo. If it's in the middle of the back row, so it's the place behind your Vanguard circle, this unit can attack from the back row, and if you have a Vanguard with Dueling Dragon in the name, in its card name, this unit gets power plus 5,000 for each of your other units with Arrestor in their card names. So it can be like, if you're like on Zengeki doing some nonsense, like a 19k attacker from the back row, but only on your opponent's Vanguard. No, I'm good.
That's cool though.
That's
I
what I
hate
joke about. It's not like
I hate that the 5k power is tied to the being in the middle of the back row.
Right?
Sucks.
This card is just this card is good in exactly one spot on your board, which means that you probably want to play at most 2 of this card. At which point you're playing Murakumo, which playing 2 of a card is not real, so you're going to play 0 of this card. So it's pretty easy to narrow it down to how many of these you should play.
Like, I like that they got rid of the Arrestor's original gimmick for their revamped version, and then they just made this, which put the gimmick right back.
Yeah, right. You're like, all right.
3 steps forward, 4 steps back.
That's Bushiroad for you.
The next one is my favorite, like, new archetype that they're coming out with.
Agent, Stealth Beast, Weasel, Red.
Fuck yeah, let's do this.
A grade 2, 8K. So it's 8K grade 2. I want this to be very clear. It has an auto on both Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. When placed, you can counterblast 1. Discard any number of cards from your hand. Search your deck for the same number of cards with Agent in their card names as cards discarded, and calls them to Rearguard Circle and shuffle your deck.
So Matt, are you now obligated to talk about all the agents?
No, actually, which is nice. But they're a bunch of fucking weasels, is what you need to know.
And they're all different colors.
And you just fill your board with fucking weasels. They're all kind of like not amazing. They're kind of all do the same thing, where like all your other agents get plus 2K. So the whole thing with this card is supposed to just meme your opponent by filling your board with fucking agents immediately. But like, and your columns, like let's say you do this on grade 2 for some reason because you're an absolute madman. And you're just like, all right, I'm gonna discard 5 cards. Counterblast 1, call 5 agents. I'm gonna have 2 of the grade 2 ones, 3 of the grade 1 ones, and everything will be plus 8. And I assume they're all like reasonable powers. I don't remember. 1 second. Weasel blue, Weasel white. 8. They're all 8K. Amazing. All right, so you'll have a bunch of 32K columns, I guess, and that'll be that. And yeah, you have 3 32K columns on grade 2. Congratulations, you did it.
So you have to discard
I don't
your
know what you
entire
did,
hand.
but you did it.
You have to discard your entire hand to get a bunch of monsters. So this is Vanguard's version of Berserker's Soul, but with weasels.
Yeah, it's a Weasel Rush. I think it's gonna be we're supposed to call it.
Draw monster cardo, Weasel Blue.
It's absolutely bizarre and hilarious, and somebody will do it. But
Matt, what if this becomes a meta deck? What would you do? How would you react?
I let it happen.
Fucking this is like
Bring it on, you cowards.
I'm pretty sure Gabe designed this card.
I want to see a tournament where everyone just brings this deck so that it'll top.
No.
Fucking weasels.
What, like
Fucking
the Area
weasels.
51 strategy? Just they can't stop all of us? Okay, fine.
Alright, let's get to this other card that James was alluding to earlier. Stealth Rogue of Summoning Jiraiya. Grade 1, 8K. When placed, draw a card, put a card from your hand in the bottom of your deck. So it does some filtering a la Yasue.
On ride.
And on ride. Or when placed on Vanguard Circle, yeah. And it has an act. Once per turn, you can counterblast 1. On Rearguard Circle only. Choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets power plus 1,000.
Oh, my bad, Matt. I thought this was Rearguard and Vanguard Circle.
Oh, no. You wish.
So...
yeah, this card is also... whatever. I mean, like, if you're playing the fucking... what are those guys called? It's marginally better.
Selbies?
But I just talked about how I feel about Counterblast 1 for 10k power.
Yeah. But
This
also...
isn't even as, like...
This is like a medium to medium plus skill, but it's also next to the fucking weasel, so how good can it really be?
I mean, if you don't build a deck with the weasels in it, or you've been playing Murakumo, to be honest,
Who knows?
Super Sentai Weasels is the only deck.
you just play weasels into fucking. I don't even know how you finish the game after that, because there's no like Agent Gate 3, is there?
I don't think
Nope.
so.
So you're just like stuck on weasels, man.
Did you guys
Grade 2 Rush Weasels.
Did you guys ever watch Ned's
It's beyond
Declassified
grade
School
time.
Survival Guide?
Yeah.
Do you remember how the janitor was obsessed with catching that weasel?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Alright, I like to think he never caught it, and then, like, in his anger, he created this archetype and made it terrible, so, like, he's like, alright, I know that the weasel sucks.
Or
I am Gordy
or
the janitor.
he never caught the weasel.
Yeah.
Or he never caught the weasel
Yeah.
because the weasel was a ninja.
Oh, fuck! Full circle! Alright.
Oh, I
Okay.
forgot a weasel. Sorry, I forgot there was a weasel yellow, which is another grade 1 weasel that gives all of your units with agent their card names get intercept
Okay.
on Rearguard Circle.
Fine.
So you can intercept with your grade 1 weasels if you run out of grade 2 weasels or some nonsense.
Cool.
I'm sorry. I forgot a weasel.
Just give weasels a round of applause. All right.
Look, there's just...
This episode's meme-tastic, and I'm here for it. But,
Yeah.
all right. We got a lot of ground to cover here still. Number of Terror is DI grade 3 with 12k. On rearguard or guard circle, when placed, if your soul has 10 or more cards, this unit gets plus 10k and plus 10k shield until the end of turn. And then when it attacks Vanguard, if your soul has 10 or more cards, put another rearguard into your soul and draw 2.
Okay.
Not bad.
Alright.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm pretty sure you
Solid.
hope not to play this card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why you would play this over the next grade 3.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why it's a double R to begin with. Like, it just doesn't... Yeah.
Why are there 2 grade 3 double Rs with the gift?
I don't know.
Mm.
But the next one
Alright.
is the dumbest name I've ever heard. Hope on Dump. Alright then.
What does this even mean?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Alright, grade 3, 12k.
Let's do it.
Protect gift on van or rear when so already better than the fucking number of terror. So when placed, if your soul has 20 or more cards until the end of turn, when your opponent would call cards from his or her hand to guard circle, he or she must call cards with the sum of their original shield be 20,000.
Can I ask a question really quick? What's the shield value on perfect cards?
0.
0.
Interesting. Interesting.
What's the shield value of critical and front triggers?
Not enough.
What's the value of grade 1s?
Also not enough. What's the value of heals, though?
20.
20,000.
You-
Well, it's saying the sum of their original, so like you can call multiple cards, but this
Yeah,
does
yeah.
just force extra guard.
It means that PGs by themselves cannot be called because
Yes.
they are only 0 shield.
Yeah, so you gotta call it plus 2 grade 1s or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a
Now,
lot of cards.
Now imagine if there was a card that forced you to call 3 cards from your hand at the same time.
Foreshadowing.
I mean, isn't that what this card's basically doing?
I already thought that the Battledore skill to begin with was creative enough, but that's really fucking neat. Like that's a cool way to do guard restrict.
Now imagine if your Vanguard just had extra power and a critical.
I think they
Seems
put it
like
together.
some synergy, huh?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, because I haven't kept up that much with DI,
Sure,
how
sure.
quickly can they get the 20 soul now?
Mm.
I imagine pretty quick at this point.
Yeah, like Yellow Bolt, you get 2 on ride plus your starter. What's his face? Brufus can shove 2 to 3 cards just from his own skill.
Emblem Master.
A
That's
lot of
3
it
more.
seems kind of counterblast luck to get a bunch of cards in Soul,
Mhm.
but I imagine you can easily do it by your second grade 3 turn.
I think
Yeah.
it really helps that this card and the new VR are pretty free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope on Dump
I
is
think-
pretty fucking crazy.
I think DI really comes down to how fast can you build your soul now to 20.
I think
Pretty
it's
big.
faster than we're giving it credit for, because there's stuff like the new Dimension Creeper and all that.
Yeah, I'm just like I just don't know because I'm not that familiar with the cards.
I wonder if you can fit like 3 different grade 3s so that you can have this effect going and then restand with what's his face?
I think.
No Life King, yeah.
Yeah. It seems like a thing like that. Was it Hope on Dump as the ride off of No Life King is pretty crazy. It's got a crit and huge power, and they can etc. All right, Wear Tighter Jaeger. So the hero of late Jira DI is back. 8k grade 1. When it is retired from the rear guard or guard circle, you can counterblast 1 and put it into your soul. Okay, and then there still is in the soul. When your opponent's rearguard is retired by your card effect, you can bind it and draw a card.
So you get to counterblast 1, draw a card.
No. The counterblast is to put him into
No,
your
I
soul.
mean,
Counterblast.
I'm combining the skills here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can guard with it, counterblast 1, put it in your soul, and then later you can pop something with the grade 3 in the set, and then bind this card and then draw a card.
Yeah.
It's like a delayed draw.
Mm-hmm.
It's not terrible.
Mm.
You could just soul charge it too, and that could do the counterblast. That's always an option.
Yeah.
I don't know. This card just seems mediocre, especially compared to his original incarnation.
I mean, his original
like
incarnation
cards-
was so multifaceted. What?
I think it kind of comes down to: would you rather use this counterblast to put this into the soul, or would you rather use the counterblast to try and soul charge more?
I
I-
cannot fathom paying a counterblast. for-
Yeah,
I
like
think. Go on.
with our win conditions wanting 20 cards in Soul, I think you just want to turbo your deck as quickly as you can.
Yeah. Oh, but fun note. Well, you could just play this card and never use the counterblast cost. You just
What I would do is I would play this card
and copy
and
it.
use fucking
Yeah.
Emblem Master to shove 3 of them in your soul and like draw 3 cards like immediately.
Like really sweet.
Yeah.
Not even it doesn't have to be immediately. That's just retiring a card and drawing a card off the VR is just so much value over a few turns.
Oh, the second I retire 1 card, I'm like getting rid of all these things.
Oh, shoot, you can do it off the same one, right?
Yeah. You just go bam, bam,
It's not a
bam,
hard
draw
one to
3.
do.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I will just take all of the cards immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, this card is like meant to be played with Emblem Master.
Yeah,
Or
I
it's not
think,
meant to be played, but it's ideally played.
yeah, I think mostly you just want to shove this guy in your soul like randomly and not really worried about like putting him extra in there, and then just fucking go off.
I mean, it's another way to put it in there, so options are always good, right? It's not like it
Yeah.
was tied to the being put in that way. All right, this next one, I like her. I like her a lot.
Oh,
Card
okay.
is very anime.
Yes, it is. I'm not really a fan of the art, but the effect is cool.
Oh, it's very cool. Next card is Nightmare Doll Carol. It's a grade 3 Excel gift. Workeroid, I feel like I should add that because that becomes very important.
Yes.
It has 2 skills. First skill is Auto Vanguard Circle. When placed, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, put a card from among them into your soul, and shuffle your deck. If a grade 3 Workeroid was put, you may call that card to Rearguard Circle. And then the second
Alright.
skill, Auto Vanguard Circle. When your grade 3 Rearguard is put into your soul, cost Counterblast 1 and discard 2 cards from your hand, ride a Workeroid from your soul as stand, and that unit gets drive -1 until end of turn.
Neat.
Dolls are back in standard.
Yeah. So Nightmare Doll Alice is a grade 3 Workeroid. That's who she's designed to work with. This is also really funny in Premium because there is a Nightmare Doll Stride that puts itself back in G Zone and then continues your turn. So you can do that, put it back, and then do Alice's thing, and then just re-ride the Carol, like another Carol from Soul, or ride Alice and call a free Workeroid out. Why the fuck not?
Mm-hmm.
This is cool, and it's very free, that first skill.
Yeah. In terms of standard, this card seems like pretty good for bursting someone down, especially if they're at high damage. Like at 5, if you have like maybe 4 open counterblast, and you have another copy of her in the soul and an Alice, you can just like do like maybe like 4 attacks between her from her skill alone on top of your other rear guards that you already attacked with. That's like estimating math because I haven't actually play tested this build yet, but I think the big problem with this card is not so much a discard 2 part, because if you choose Excel 2, you're getting 1 drive check and then you're drawing cards, so you always have the 2 for the discard. But it's because the counterblast cost in standard is kind of high, and this card definitely struggles versus Force unless you specifically get the new grade 1 behind it. And the deck also just, unlike the Silverthorn cards that get plus 10k power, this deck just, right now, I think it just gets shut down really hard by a damage trigger.
I would see it more in Premium, I think. If only just for... Well, like, Nightmare Doll Jenny makes the Alice thing a loop, so this just makes that loop more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
But
Alright.
overall, I think we'll still see it in standard, and it'll probably get random top somewhere because someone who doesn't know how to play against it just loses.
Yeah, it has a good surprise factor. And speaking of surprise factor, this girl is literally a Jack-in-the-Box.
Next card is Miracle Pop Ava. Grade 3 Excel Gift. 2 skills. First skill is Auto on Rearguard Circle when placed from Soul. If your Vanguard is grade 3, draw a card and Soul Charge 1. Second skill, Auto when rode upon. Cost Counterblast 1, draw a card, and one of your Vanguards gets plus 10k until end of turn.
Meh.
It's the break ride.
Yeah,
Surprise, you
Yeah.
plus and Pale Moon.
he did it.
Uh,
You sound very enthused.
I guess.
I like the old one more.
Me too.
Yeah. I think for this card, in terms of standard, I think it definitely helps with a Golden Peace Tamer focus builds. Part of their weaknesses that they don't have. They don't have a really good way to get cards in hand to kind of refuel and go again and guard. This card kind of helps with it, but at the same time, like kind of calling this card kind of lowers your offense for the turn. I don't know exactly if the trade is worth it, and I feel like in standard, we don't have enough tools to like really easily and efficiently. That's the key word: easily and efficiently. Keep putting this card back into the soul, calling it out again, and getting the draws.
Mm-hmm.
I know in like premium, we definitely have the tools to do that because of things like the old purple trapezist can just shove this in, pull it out, get another draw. Something puts in that trapezist again, call the trapezist out again, put this in, call it out, get a draw. But in standard, it's a bit harder and more costly. I haven't tested the Golden Beast Tamer build yet with the new stuff, but this card helps, but I don't think it's quite enough to like overthrow, say, Silverthorn.
Overthrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. I liked the older one better. Like
Yeah.
Hard's hot, medium.
The when rode upon thing is like it's a nice little bonus, but I feel like it's just such a tempo loss if you ride this first, and you never want to re-ride onto this.
Yeah.
So speaking of hot cards, what's the next one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man. Next card is Silverthorn Breathing Dragon. It's grade 1.
Fuck yeah.
8k. Atlas is just like
Fuck yeah.
I
Let's
can like
do it.
I can visualize him right now, like his fist clench and like looks like he's gonna take crap from the excitement. So it's auto on rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, it boosted. If your soul has 4 or more cards with Silverthorn in their different card names, Counterblast 1, and put a rearguard with Silverthorn in its card name that this unit boosted into your soul, and call a card with Silverthorn in its card name from your soul to rearguard circle. Would you like to
But
go
why?
first, Atlas?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go on.
No, just fucking, this thing's amazing.
Uh-huh.
And it's really funny in Premium, because in Premium there is Silverthorn Assistant Zelma, who is a purple trapezist for Silverthorns only, and you can loop her with this. Fuck yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, loops.
Mm-hmm.
For standard, this card is definitely less useful in standard, mostly because of the Counterblast cost of Lukier.
Yeah.
I think that this is like I said earlier. I think that Silverthorn kind of has to be played in that when you reach your grade 3 turn, you kind of have to choose between different game plans depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
One of those game plans is like riding onto Lukier and then only using Lukier's skill once, and then committing the rest of the counterblast to say this card to try and kill them earlier. Or if you don't ride onto Lukier and misride onto Golden Beast Tamer, you can pull this card out and try and do some shenanigans like that.
Yeah.
So,
This doesn't care about your Vanguard's name, which is great.
and Silverthorn cards, like, it's also just synergizable with Silverthorn cards because their main attackers just get 10k for very little reason. So yeah, I don't see any reason to like straight up not run this, especially since a lot of the other non-Silverthorn grade 1s aren't that great in the deck, and it just gives an extra name so that it's easier to reach the conditions of this card and Lillian.
One thing you can also do with this card is that this card, while it needs to put the unit that it boosted back in the soul, it doesn't actually need to call it in front of this card. Meaning that you can actually call the unit you call over another unit of rearguard circle to force out like an extra stronger attack.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not like locked in the same column like you typically are with these.
Mm-hmm.
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 Or you can like,
This card, the timing and the effect of the skill actually really reminds me of Negro Bone from G
Yes.
era.
Reminds me a lot of that too.
It's essentially Negro Bone,
It
except
just
has-
doesn't need a Silverthorn Vanguard specifically. It just needs other condition.
4 different card names,
Which
which
is
can be kind of annoying, but it depends on how. But the Soul Charge engine is pretty damn strong.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you're gonna miss terribly often.
So yeah, this card it's like good, but you're gonna have to choose when you use it carefully in Standard and Premium. Atlas is like having an orgasm over this card.
All right, so that brings us to the end of the double R's, which now, any rares or commons that we think are interesting or important?
I've already talked about the weasels,
Yes.
Well,
which are all that matters really. So
You have anything, Alvin?
quickly, I'm just going to steal a Dark Irregulars one from you, Atlas.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Variance Heartleg is a grade 2 9k, auto rearguard circle, one place. If your soul has 3 or more cards with different card names, and they have 3 or more cards with the same name until end of turn, when your opponent would call card from his or her hand to guard circle, they have to call 3 or more at the same time. Okay, that sentence was a mouthful, and it's really hard to find a concise way to describe that. So, you need 3 different units and 3 copies of those different units in your soul, and when you have it, you have your super battle door effect. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, so
3 cards is a lot, so it's 9 cards, 3
Mhm.
sets of 3.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep.
Easy.
I guarantee you people are going to be fucking misreading this for
Yeah.
years to come, months to
Like,
come.
it's so short in Japanese, but in English, this is just an absolute mouthful. But yeah, basically, you would combine this with
Hope
the
on dump.
Hope on dump. So basically, anytime you attack, your opponent has to call 3 cards, and those 3 cards have to have a total shield of 20,000.
Or more.
Mm-hmm.
This card alone also just looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Condition looks pretty easy.
It's also
Yeah,
like super free.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, when you combine the two, you just make it super convoluted for your opponent to try and guard.
So,
Poss-
Broken Common Club, anybody?
Unsure. We'll find out.
I think possibly
Like-
Sorry. Who wants first?
Well, the problem is its condition is you have to have 9 cards, 3 sets of 3. So, like, if you're just even with what's his name, Brufus being able to get you those sets of 3s, that would be 3 grade 3 turns, which is pretty slow.
I mean, you have
And then-
Emblem Master, too.
Yeah, but it's gonna take a while to get those conditions, and then you have to think about like losing cards to your damages and draws and stuff. So I don't know, like it could be a problem, it couldn't be. I think just having Hope on dump in general is probably good enough, but I would probably run both. Like I think it's reasonable to just kind of have one or the other as your win condition.
I think possibly a problem or a hurdle to jump over in DI. Once again, I don't know DI that well, the cards in general, but possibly a hurdle would be finding a balance between these cards that help you win the game and the cards that soul charge you to win the game.
Well,
Because this is going to take a grade 1 slot, and probably if you're going to be using
this is a grade 2.
Oh, grade 2? Okay, so
Yeah.
this is going to take up a grade 2 slot. So, like, because the deck encourages you to run 4-ofs in general, this is going to take 4 slots, and the 4 slots is going to go to Emblem Master. And what's the other slot for 2 going to be?
I don't know. I kind of want to start like theory crafting a deck around this because it seems interesting, but like
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look at all of the Dark Irregular cards because I haven't been paying attention to them.
Dark Red cards look pretty sweet.
if
But I
I-
think there's like a balance between Soul Charge and Finisher we need to like get the math down on.
In my experience, it's somewhere between 70-30 and 80-20. Even better if one card does both, like Brufus. So, yeah, something to consider. James, is it okay if I take that grade 3?
Oh, I was about to ask you, did you want another orgasm? But sure, you can take it.
I'd rather give them to myself, thank you very much. Grade 3, 12k, Silverthorn Beast Tamer Dorian. Van or rear, at the end of your turn, you put all of your other rear guards into your soul, and draw a card for every 2 cards you put into your soul for this cost. If you put 4 or more cards, return a grade 3 with Silverthorn and its card name from your soul to your hand, and then you retire this unit on rear guard circle. This is really fucking hilarious in Premium, because in Premium you can shit out boards for basically nothing, and then at the end of the turn they're going to go back in Soul anyway because Magia, so you just draw a bunch of cards. And then this also gets
Get a grade 3 back, because why not?
You get the
Infinitely
cost.
writing.
Well, there's that. There's also, you get the cost for the Progenitor Stride. Would be Ultimate Stride if it didn't suck. R.I.P. Dust. But, also, I've had several games where I just haven't found a grade 3, but I soul charged this off of a meal or something, and then just committed super hard to the board with her as the 5th card. And then at the end of the turn, you put 4 in, and then there's another copy in Soul. You draw 2 cards and then get that grade 3 from Soul back. There's your grade 3 ride.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of awesome.
As for standard, this card is also pretty nuts in standard. I'm surprised this card is a rare.
I know, right?
I feel like this card is at least a double R.
Right.
The bad thing about this in standard, I guess, is that because of how much the resource cost of Lukier is, because this ideally you use it with Lukier to get massive amounts of card advantage.
Right.
But the problem is, like, Lukier costs so many counterblasts, so you're not going to use this more than, like, twice at max. 3 if you really need to get rid of your board. So, like, you're only going to really run 2 or 3 copies. The Soul Charge engine is generally strong enough that you are probably going to get this card. And if you really need this card, Lillian can just fetch it for you. But, like, this card, this is the reason why I played against Angel Feather. I whiffed assist on grade 3, had to G-assist the next turn. My opponent healed 3 times off triggers, and I still won because of this card.
Were you playing Chris, perchance?
No, it wasn't Chris.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, this card just lets you. This card come out of Lukier just gives you a super healthy hand with Silverthorn. It lets you grind with the big boys now. Like, you're no longer a deck that just tosses away your hand and hopes you win. You now can choose to just make a giant hand if you want. And also, this also has like advantages versus retire focus decks, because for 1 or 2 turns you can turn off all their retire effects, including the new DI VR. For 1 or 2 turns, you can shut down their on-attack skill while still gaining cards in return. And if you have the counterblast for it, you just like pop out a huge board again with Lukier.
Yeah, it's
this card is sweet.
Love this thing. Do you have any to share, James?
Yeah, there's definitely one more, and then just one I'll go over really briefly.
Okay.
Next one is a rare Silverthorn Conjurer Romy. It's a grade 1. Has 1 skill. Act to rearguard circle. Cost. Rest this unit and put it into your soul. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Put any number of cards with Silverthorn in their card names from among them into your soul, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This is an amazing soul charge card.
It
just sets
so
up
free.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's free.
Like,
it's pretty damn free.
Nothing in Pale Moon so far calls things out at rest. So that rest cost just isn't a cost at all.
Like, this card is like, wow. You look at the top, like, this is the card that's like, it's possibly better than Emil because you'll actually want to run this at 4. Mm-hmm. And pretty much this makes it so that you can actually pretty consistently get Lillian to get the plus 10k on your grade 2 turn. Because you'll have the soul from the starter, another one from writing, then you choose, then if you have Lillian on rearguard, you can call her, choose a completely different name, and then the chances that you'll get a 4th different name is really high with Romy. And if you don't have Romy, that's already your 4th card in Soul.
Yeah.
With a different name.
And like, also the amount of cards that you like look at top 3, put on bottom, you can have your own little mini stack going.
Dude, I did that again in the Angel Feather grind matchup. I stacked a heal and a front on top, and I attacked 8 times with Golden Beast Tamer for 40k.
Good job.
It was great.
Yeah, this thing is a little slow for premium, but in standard it's like gangbusters.
This just skyrockets the consistency of Pale Moon in general.
Mhm.
And for the non-Silverthorn cards you have in the deck, like, most of them are just triggers, which generally you don't want to soul charge anyway.
Yeah.
And then one more card. This is just really brief, but it's very good. But it's very simple card. Silverthorn Rising Dragon, grade 2. If you call 2 or more cards from this from the soul this turn, this card on Rearguard Circle gets plus 10k.
Cool.
Which plus 10k power matters a lot, and doesn't require Silverthorns or anything, so you can splash it in like any Pale Moon deck, and you just have a 19k beater.
Yeah. Or it's basically just a second Lillian in terms of power. So you just
Well, it depends because their restriction is different.
yeah.
Lillian Lillian is hard to get, but once you get it, it's more stable. This one, it's depending on what deck you play, it can be easy or hard.
I mostly just had it for like another Silverthorn name, and then like does the same thing that Lillian does as a 19k beat stick, and is better.
19k beat stick is good.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Were there any others that anybody wanted to share before we close?
I have
this
a
out?
quick one that's funny.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know if it's good, but Knight of Authority Demna. So it's Shadow Paladin, grade 2, 5k. So its skill is auto rearguard. When its attack doesn't hit while attacking a Vanguard, if your opponent did not call a Guardian during that battle, Counterblast 1, deal a damage to your opponent's Vanguard.
That's funny.
That's really funny. So you can search this with Stolwich Nemen.
Well, why?
You can search this with basically everything in Shadow Paladin.
He was never going to do anything except be kind of like, why are you playing this?
Be a nuisance. That's
If your opponent doesn't read your card, you just deal a free damage.
Alright, your opponent's going to read that and be like, why is this card 5k?
Matt. You're overestimating the community's ability to read.
No, maybe in the show they can't read. Maybe that's what they're getting
I
at.
think the point of this card is just to always force a card out with it if your opponent's at like 5.
Yeah.
Is there a condition that they have to be 4 or less?
Nope.
Nope. Just
Okay.
can kill off of that ability.
You can just win.
I mean,
I think it's just like, wait, does it say call a Guardian or have a Guardian?
If your opponent did not call one.
So you can't intercept this.
No.
To
No.
avoid the damage.
intercepting does not count because intercepting is moving,
Yeah.
not placing. So, yeah.
So,
I think it's a stupid little tech card in the funnest way possible. Like, just
Yeah.
run one. Why not? Free damage.
if you attack with a second and you like get a crit or something, you can put it on it. It's also kind of funny.
I'll either take 2 damage or take 1 damage or something.
Yeah.
That's one of those things.
Actually,
Like,
no, if they guard, then you just take nothing. But like, it's just funny.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So, who won the set?
The set is like bonkers. Dude.
I know.
Yeah, this set is really strong.
It's not Murakumo.
Yes.
I know that.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
probably
completely
true.
true.
I can see a slim chance that it's Murakumo if like
No.
their giant
No.
power columns kill in 2 turns. But
No.
yeah,
Just
No,
no.
it's-
slim
No.
chance.
I'm stuck
Definitely
between
not Murakumo.
I'm stuck between Pale Moon and Shadow. I mean, Shadow was already in a good position before this, so that might be coloring my perception. So I guess it should be who got the best support and who's the best off because of this set. So, best support, who got it?
I honestly,
That's hard to say.
in terms of like best upgrades, just from like looking at the cards, I want to say either Pale Moon because like all the Pale Moon cards are good all around, pretty much, except for maybe like a common or so. Like
Mhm.
everything is like an upgrade to some deck and a good one at that. This is like compensation for having our $3 bill be the Vanguard $3 bill being Fence Loot Dragon. But at the same time, I feel like DIs were like incredibly low, and a lot of their support looks pretty solid, especially the new VR.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, in
And
terms of
also,
like biggest upgrade, I'm torn between those two.
Mhm.
I'm confident that Shadow Paladin will somehow end up in the best position anyway,
Yeah,
because they're going to somehow get another set of support before the rest of these clans.
they are getting another set of support before the rest of these clans.
Yep. So I'm confident Shadow Paladin will be fine.
Yeah. I mean, it remains to be seen what that new support will do, but I think, in general, a lot of the Shadow Paladin support has pretty good longevity. I think just personally, Dark Irregulars holds my interest out of all these clans now. Like, all of the new stuff looks really fun, and then, like, No Life King might be an interesting combo with Rufus.
I think that if Silverthorns got the card they really needed, then I think Pale Moon would have taken it. But honestly, for me, the toss-up between Pale Moon and DI. The card being a Silverthorn countercharger.
Or just any countercharging that's not cumbersome and stupid, please.
We still have hope for a common, the Miracle Common that gives the countercharge.
Right, because we're doing this before all of the commons and rares have been revealed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of half the reason we do the episodes like this, is because we can get them out before anybody else. Hooray, you're learning behind-the-scenes secrets for Nexus at Night. Alright, yeah, so I guess...
Speaking of behind-the-scenes secrets, I'm ready to sleep.
Yeah. Alright, so, Matt, before you go to bed, where can people find you?
You can find me at Wiggums2Gs2Zs on Twitter.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
James, where can people find you?
I don't use social media. You can just ask these guys.
All right.
We'll forward it to him.
We'll send him a carrier pigeon. You can find this show at Nexus at Night on Twitter. You can find me personally at Atlas Novak. You can also find both of those names on Instagram, although I'm terrible at updating them. Until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Rupier.
And I'm James.
And have a good night, everybody.